He was once the underdog, the forever player 2 to gaming's most iconic mascot in history. Or so we thought. But now, 40 years later, Luigi stands alongside his big brother Mario as one of the most beloved characters in video game history. But how exactly did Mario's lean green ghost hunting machine little bro manage to get out of his brother's shadow? I'm Kyle with One Up Binge, and buckle up, it's a Luigi time. Now, in order to kick things off properly, we have to go way back to 1983 for the birth of Luigi. It was the era of arcades, before home gaming was totally commonplace, though it was out there. But for the majority, arcade games were the bread and butter of the video game experience. Nintendo was really enjoying the era with how successful Donkey Kong was in arcades. You really can't overstate the success they had on their hands. So it's only reasonable that another arcade game would release just a couple years later. A little game called Mario Brothers. Not to be confused with Super Mario Brothers. The original Mario Bros. Was a 1983 arcade game developed by Nintendo. This game could be credited for really starting to iron Mario out into what we know him as today, both as a character and a series. The courageous hero, Mario Jumpman Mario, returned with a brand new career as a plumber. He fought off turtles, crabs, flies, and for some reason icebergs, attacking the strangely large and colorful pipes of the innocent. But perhaps the most important change was that he wasn't alone. Enter Luigi Mario, Mario's younger twin brother and the player 2 character in the game. At this time, Luigi wasn't really anything special. In fact, he was only different from Mario in color and name. His controls, abilities, and physics were all the exact same. And this even carried over to the far more iconic Super Mario Bros. For the NES, where Luigi is once again simply a palette-swapped player 2 to Mario. To a single-player Mario fan of the time, Luigi may as well not exist, and to others, he's just delegated as the lesser hero your little brother plays as. It's certainly not the most triumphant start to his story, sure, but Luigi did finally get some important distinctions from Mario in Super Mario Bros. 2, after 5 years of living in his brother's shadow. In this 1988 title, Luigi was finally given two of his most iconic distinctions from Mario. First is his slim build and taller height, making him visibly different from Mario, not to mention his stash, which is arguably even more stylish than Mario's. But we won't get too political here. More important than style, however, is Luigi's second new feature. The game also revealed that Luigi can jump higher than Mario. Yeah, you heard that right. Mario, the guy who was literally called Jumpman for several years, is out-jumped by his younger brother. Luigi's just built different like that. It didn't take long for Luigi to seemingly outclass his brother, but that said, this distinction wasn't immediately lasting. Not much later, Super Mario Bros. 3 came out, and Luigi was back to his role as second banana to Mario, identical to his more famous brother in controls and appearance, only being distinguishable as the Green Mario. This trend continued in Super Mario World 2 years later. Seriously, their sprites are the exact same minus the different colors. At this point in the late 80s and early 90s, Luigi is still predominantly Mario's player 2. But that said, Luigi was at least starting to get out there. At least a lot of people know he exists now, if other media was any indication. He did play a role as one of the two protagonists in the 1989 Super Mario Bros. Super Show. You might remember him better as Mama Luigi in this era. From jumping to mothering children to being green. Is there anything this man can't do? Well, he can certainly sell merchandise. Check out this vintage Luigi plushie from 1988. That's right, soak it in. This is what a peak video game icon looks like, and there's nothing you can do about it. Luigi is now on his way, but will he ever get to step into the limelight? Well, yes, actually. In 1992, Luigi finally got his big break. His very own starring role is finally here. The legendary, iconic game Mario is Missing. You know, one of the 4 Mario games that isn't universally agreed upon as good. Initially a PC release, this was an educational game that placed Luigi in the starring role to rescue Mario from Bowser, who's sick and tired of having his plans thwarted. Of course, if he were smarter, he probably would have kidnapped the guy who, at this time, is literally a carbon copy of said plan thwarter. But while this game sold well enough to be ported to the SNES, and even the original NES later, it still stands as one of Mario's least sung adventures. This is pretty unfortunate for Luigi fans of the era. Mario gets all the fun adventures, the starring role in every game, love from the princess, and Luigi gets an educational game. That's just mean, Nintendo. Perhaps the saddest part about Luigi's fumbled chance at a starring role is the entrance of a more or less Luigi-less era for the remainder of the 1990s. Sure, he would always show up in spin-offs like Mario Party, Mario Kart, Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, etc. as a playable character, and with Charles Martinet now voicing both the Mario brothers. His unique voice helped him stand out even further from Mario. But for the deuteragonist of the series, Luigi had very little time to shine compared to what one would expect. Even his usual Player 2 role has been sidelined at this point, with the release of Super Mario 64 changing the world of platformers forever without poor Luigi, even though he was planned for the game originally. We haven't forgotten all those L is real 2401 conspiracy theories. He was also absent from Super Mario Sunshine, the next 3D game in the series. It's worth wondering by this point whether Luigi will ever come back into his own as a character, or if he'll forever be in Mario's shadow. The series seems to directly acknowledge this in Paper Mario, in which Luigi's diary entries reveal his frustration at Mario going on so many adventures without him, which is fitting since he's physically absent from this game and Super Mario RPG, and plays only a clumsy supporting role in the Thousand Year Door. As the 21st century makes its debut, Luigi is still in obscurity, and it's worth wondering if he'll ever make it out. But in 2001, Luigi finally got what he was wishing for, albeit not quite the way he expected. Enter Luigi's Mansion, the start of what we'll call the Luigi Renaissance era. It's the beginning of the 21st century, and with this GameCube title's release, it's also the beginning of Luigi's legacy as we know him today. This game is basically what turned Luigi into the character we know and love. It was never lost on anyone that Luigi was the underdog of the Mario series, always overshadowed by his brother, but in Luigi's Mansion, when he's thrust into his own solo adventure, we finally get to see bits and pieces of his personality. When Mario is kidnapped and held hostage in a mansion that Luigi wins in a contest he never entered, Luigi ends up saving him from the vile King Boo. He's frightful, sometimes even downright cowardly, and he doesn't even try to hide it. He also greatly admires his big brother, calling out to him timidly throughout the game, and being utterly speechless upon saving him, literally shaking with joy. As utterly terrified and clumsy as he is, Luigi still does what he can to save Mario and help make the world a safer, better place, which really recontextualizes his Player 2 role in general. Thankfully, Luigi's newfound personality doesn't stop here. His character, as well as his bond with Mario, are explored even further in the 2003 Game Boy Advance title Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. Taking character traits of both previous Mario RPGs, Super Mario RPG and Paper Mario, Superstar Saga places Luigi and Mario together on equal footing in an adventure to rescue Princess Peach's voice from the evil Cackletta. This is one of our personal favorite Mario games, being among the most colorful, charming games in the franchise. And that's a good thing, because the cartoonish vibe is perfect for letting Luigi shine. He's a total coward, frequently trying to get out of helping Mario save the Mushroom Kingdom, and even outright running away at the game's start. It's also clear in this game just how close Mario and Luigi are. They frequently hug each other, speak in unintelligible Italian gibberish, and that's not racist, it's literally gibberish that sounds Italian, and are able to remain close no matter how many hits they have to take from hammers and fireballs to pull off Special Bros attacks. It's fitting that this game was released 20 years after the original Mario Bros, in which Luigi debuted, and it even has a reboot as a bonus feature. This really feels like the first legitimate character arc Luigi has. He grows attached to people he admires easily, specifically Mario and Prince Peasley, and despite his fears, is willing to do whatever it takes if it means saving the world, and being a hero like his brother. On several occasions, he goes solo, to infiltrate Bowletta's airship, and totally rocking the dress by the way, or going to find a cure for a horrible disease Mario falls ill with after eating a poisonous mushroom. mushroom. And for the remainder of the 2000s, things are looking up for Luigi. He's still in all the spin-off games, now complete with that lovable personality. But there's now no shortage of playable Luigi to make up for his overall absence in the 90s platformers. He's playable in all of the new Super Mario Bros. Games, complete with his iconic slippery physics and higher jump, is unlockable for the post-game of Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, and is even an unlockable character in Super Mario 64 DS. It's almost like an apology for his absence in the original. Let's also mention the GBA remasters of Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario World, both of which bring Luigi back and give him his unique controls and design we know and love today. It's safe to say that Luigi is now cemented as a gaming icon on par with Mario, with a huge fandom rooting for him every step of the way. So surely he's succeeded now, right? Well, let's take a look at his final smash in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. This final smash is called the Negative Zone, and, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a gigantic zone of negative energy that damages its victims slowly. It's weird enough already, but it gets somewhat morbid when you read the trophy description. Apparently, Luigi's negative zone energy is fueled by how much he hates being stuck in Mario's shadow, meaning that not only is Luigi very much still an underdog, he's well aware of it in-universe, and he hates it. Surely there's something Nintendo can do to cheer the poor guy up. There certainly is, and in 2013, 30 years after Luigi's creation, we finally got that something. It's finally time to discuss the year of Luigi. Nintendo finally decided that 30 years of relative obscurity was more than enough. Luigi deserves love, damn it, and love is exactly what he got in 2013. Let's see, there's the long-awaited sequel to Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon, on the 3DS, going full circle to the game's roots as Luigi's Renaissance era. There was the fourth installment of the Mario and Luigi series, Dream Team, which focused on pumping Luigi up with dream power, and even gave us a brief look into his inner psyche, showing how much he cherishes Mario and wants to follow him anywhere he goes. There was Dr. Luigi, the Wii U release that showed us that Luigi can do anything Mario can do, even medical malpractice. But perhaps most impressively in terms of his character status was the release of New Super Luigi U. Taking the bros out of the equation entirely, this is a full-on new game, plus the new Super Mario Bros. U starring Luigi, making it the first game in the main series to feature Luigi and not Mario. Don't hear me wrong, Mario is great, but this is only fair, given how much Luigi got stiffed in the 90s Mario games. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. But what about the 3D Mario games? Well, sadly, Luigi hasn't taken over those, unless you count him being unlockable in the Galaxy games and 3D Land, or playable in Super Mario 3D World. But with the release of Super Mario Odyssey, Luigi is finally part of a 3D Mario. Okay, so he was DLC, but he's free DLC. DL free, if you will. He hangs around each level with a fun balloon hunting minigame. Players have limited time to maneuver elsewhere in the level and place a balloon. Others around the world try their darndest to find it. While it may seem trivial, this marks the first time Luigi has played a role in the 3D Mario games that wasn't just another playable character. If there's anything that cements Luigi as an iconic character rather than just another player, it's gotta be this. His inclusion as a bonus game holder in Odyssey proves that Luigi has evolved far beyond a player 2 character, and is his own hero and icon separate from Mario. At this point, there's no doubt that Luigi's stepped into the spotlight, and he isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So to close out, where is Luigi now? Or who is Luigi now? Or how is Luigi now? Well, he's Luigi, obviously. He seems to be doing alright aside from his severe anxiety. And where is he? Well, nowhere really. He's just enjoying having 3 entries in the Luigi's Mansion series, cementing it as its own spin-off series that he's the star of. He's also still in every Mario spin-off you can imagine. He's in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and according to many, a far better vocal performance than his big bro. And later this year, we'll be seeing him team up with Mario again in Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Luigi truly has one of the greatest arcs in Mario history. He was once a player number 2, nothing more than a green Mario. But over the years, he's finally come out of his brother's shadow with spin-offs of his own, more frequent and consistent playable character roles, and a fan base that's arguably more dedicated than even Mario's. Mario may be the Super Mario Bro, but Luigi is the superior Mario Bro. Just slightly though. You're great too, Mario. So, Waluigi timeline, anyone?